I'm on the highway and byway, baby, why you stressing me? Matthew 20:29, man, I'm teaching on the streets. Trying to teach and bring back the lost sheep. I'm focused right now, I know I can't get no sleep. It's 1:16, sipping on my Lee B. Finna throw it to my key, finna tell this beat. Listen for your hour shot, no, Israel comes on the right. Don't be like that time, toss to a fro. Been in this land for a year, I'm still trying to grow. This world can make your heart go cold. I said 58 and 1, I'm going after gold. Millions tall, I'm praying that I'm chosen. I pray the spirit ain't trying to trouble me like I'm sorry. I care about the Gentiles like I'm Paul. Are you gonna be there when I fall? Can you be the one I can call? Pick up the rock, now I'm trying to ball. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5, I'ma stand tall.
Hey, you know in your head, babe, you need to be submissive. Sipping on this tea while I'm thumbing through the scriptures. I don't know it all, but I do know how to listen. Bring them precepts out, make a heathen get defense. KJV on my hip, about to go on a mission. If any man speak, better speak as it's written. The kingdom is at hand, so that's why I teach repentance. 2024, me and Mike still lit. I can tell he a coon cause he shaded off his face. Esau trying to get away, trying to live in space. Why you trying to take away, then add to the word? Do the running 4 and 2, just read what it say. I can tell you offended cause you really hate the law. Trying to save all the nations, trying to save Esau. Probably got another spirit cause they praying to Yahuwah. It's one thing to read the word, we still gotta do it. When the Lord say we sided, she saying that we stupid. He gave us the wisdom, why you moving all imputed? If we follow the Messiah, then we gotta be a student. How you say you got no sin and you thought something foolish? When you say you got no sin, then you make the Lord a liar. That's gonna get your head chopped off and go into the fire. If you trust in the Lord, he'll give you your desire. I make truth music, I don't sing in the choir. No, I don't sing in the choir. Reminiscence for Yahweh Shai, he the righteous. I'm not ignorant to Satan and all his device. Giving in to my sin, like I gotta keep fighting. Don't get consumed in the spirit of his mouth and his brightness. I look just like God, I'm created in his likeness. When I say that, I know the heathen do not like it. This Bible reads your mind, but I don't consult with sight. Why you acting like Saul, trying to see familiar spirits? Why you acting like a witch? You know that's a death sentence. Why you trying to turn the truth of God into a lie? Why you trying to judge me with that beam in your eye?
All praise to the Most High, man. Yeah. Look, I'm telling them the truth and they say I'm talking crazy. Buck, you acting different, you ain't been the same lately. I told them I've been in the word, praying, fasting daily. And you should start too before them nukes start to spraying. Before that button pushing, all the world start to panic. We was sending warnings out, but people couldn't stand it. Going out to camp and all the people start to scramble. Yahweh shot up mark them, they gon' wish they could've heard it. I'm dressed in all black, yeah, these folks think I'm a thug. But really I'm a servant and I'm dressed for what's to come. A miracle is falling, so we turning up the spot. And dope heads done got the word, they turning up the block. And going against the Bible is the battle you won't win. And lying about your sin is a sin, so don't pretend. Lil JJ was a menace and he thought he couldn't die. Till Yahweh touched his flesh and he got hit in his thigh. Remember that your choices will affect you in the end. And stop trusting them heathen, cause them heathen ain't your friend. They try to hide their anger, in the end they turn you in. They words are smooth as butter, but their heart was full of.
So who wrote them all? Someone come around and ate the cakes. So someone broke into a home and ate Mr. Kipling's Angel Slices. Did take the TV, didn't take, some jewellery. They took these cakes.
And it was black.
That's crazy. Crazy. Alright, watch this. Yo.
The heathens are interesting, man, they can't be saved. Real soon they gon' be slaves. If you stand with Babylon, you going down with the ship. They gonna make you try to take a ship. Precepts always in my clip. That Bible stay on my hip. Whoa, whoa. Whoa, the devil coming down with wrath. Wash your garments, take a bath. You gotta stay on the narrow path. The son of man is like a man on a journey. I pray on that day we get mercy, 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 mercy. Yeah. I pray that we get mercy. Ooh, yeah. Mercy, mercy, yeah. Yeah. Mercy, mercy. I pray we get mercy. Ooh, yeah. Mercy, mercy, mercy.
Abba, please help me get rid of my demons. Whether one or religion, to you I'm pledging allegiance. The devil keep trying my spirit, rebuking him soon as I see him. Feeling like Devontae Parker, I'm not too good at receiving. Father, you tell me how to react. You taught me how to dodge the attacks. Your spirit entered me when I rap. I praise you for putting me on the map. You told me stay humble and tact. Okay, bet, I won't go against that. You got me up and I'm not coming down like Bobby Schmurder when he threw up that hat. Feeling just like a BET movie. I repent, I ain't know how to act. You gave your son, then he picked up the tab. Changed me, now the change is his act. Trusting you, not the government. They system nervous like their brain is attached. Your son the rock said endure to the end. I keep going like the name of the track. We at the end, you told me to speak repentance, giving me vision. I tell him repent and just for the mission, you made me a musician. I'm becoming your friend so I cannot blend in with these other religions. I'ma ride to the end and not just for benefits, neither what you can give me. I'm confessing my sin cause I don't want anything in my heart to offend you. As I'm searching within, my spirit on defense, I cannot be defensive. Gotta humble my skin, get low like a park bench if I must represent you. With you I am able, you are ineffable, they can never prevent you.
Easy pause, hold up, wait a minute, what you doing right now? We're humble for y'all. We just chilling back, looking up at the signs of heaven that's up in the sky. Right now I'm biggie in the truth, and for my Abba I am ready to die. Sometimes I think heavy on my backslides, and then I be ready to cry. Back in my spirit I tap in, got a loaded trailer on my back end. When it's time to unload, then I back in. I don't ever think about back then. Back when I was back in the world, never lusted on diamonds and pearls, never really chased after the girls. The Most High had to give me referral to give me a truth. Now look at the proof. I'm not a dog when I build me a roof. Smiling like Mickey, I act like a goof. I get in the sis in the alley with hoops. I need to have a good talk with the youth. I'd rather have Bible study with you. Living so righteous is something to do. Feel kinda different, yes I am a Jew. The ancient of days, mighty Abba, through the power of Christ you saved me. My ancestors fell far from the covenant, the reason you slaved me. Every day I can't thank you enough for all of the strength you gave me. So what I'ma do? Keep going, cause this is the life you gave me. Easy.
I know the art of war. That's all I ever studied. And now those things are gone. It's empty. I'm nothing. I'm working on being the art of humbleness.
Hello?
Hey,
I'm about to tell you something.
what is it?
I'm about to tell you my story real quick.
Okay, let me hear it.
Sleepless Beats.
let me tell you my story. It's been getting stormy. Some might listen, some others might try to scorn me. Sometimes I be wanting to flee. The devil stay on my back, Satan on my track. I used to dream about counting wreck, but now I'm out here preaching the fact. Don't ever look at me like I'm perfect. Try to believe in me, she sound worth it. If she stay down, she might get a birdie. Nations always learn. The Israelites looking up for certain. One thing they always fear, the day the Lord is drawing near. The world's given to the wicked, each of all over again. I feel afflicted. Some people might say I get that, just let the spirit move. I don't have nothing else to prove. I might be rude, but not speak. They hate the things that we preach. Going for the sinners who I can reach. Those the people that I'm out there trying to teach you on sheep.
Yeah. Let me talk about my life, my story. At times it done got kind of stormy. Trying to make it through the weather, going through whatever. I'ma endure. Let me talk about my life, my story. At times it done got kind of stormy. Going through the weather, make it through whatever. I'ma endure.
Lord's will, we're all written in the book. Because if you not, you getting cooked. I might bend down and laugh at the book. Better like getting you look on the war. Been praying for wisdom, Father, give me more. My face to the floor every day I'm praying. But they don't wanna hear what I'm saying. They think we out here playing. Like marathons, we fighting for our life. Father, catch me if you finna see me fall.
Yeah, let me talk about my life, my story. At times it done got kind of stormy. Trying to make it through the weather, going through whatever. I'ma endure. Let me talk about my life, my story. At times it done got kind of stormy. Going through the weather, make it through whatever. I'ma endure. Hey, I'm going light speed, and you won't catch me. I'm going light speed, you won't catch me. In the clouds of the chariot, flying all over the world. In the clouds of the chariot, flying all over the world. I'm going light speed, and you won't catch me. I'm going light speed, you won't catch me. Hey, you know it's about to go down. I pray the Lord take me in the cloud. I don't ever wanna go down. Yeah, cause I'm going light speed. I'm going light speed. I'm going light speed, and you won't catch me. My father told me he got many mansions, different galaxies, I wanna see the planets. Try to think about it, I can't even fathom. Understanding too high for me, I can handle it. I pray that one day I can push a chariot, so that over every day I got a period. Nukes dropping, bombs dropping, I ain't scared of it. Nukes dropping, bombs dropping, I ain't scared of it. Cause I'm going light speed. I'm going light speed. I'm going light speed, and you won't catch me. I'm going light speed. I'm going light speed. I'm going light speed.
All right, Shalom, Israel, Shalom. Welcome to the night's class, continuing the history of the Maccabees. All right, I don't know how far we're gonna get, but we're gonna get through it as far as we can. Lord willing, it'll be an hour tonight, and most high willing, tomorrow we'll pick back up for the last day, and we should be able to finish. When I say finish, I mean get to where we're rededicating the temple to the Most High. All right, so we've been going through the history where we left off last time, Mattathias died, and he gave his sons charge before he passed away. He gave his sons instructions, right? That was at the end of chapter 2. All right, so we'll pick right up at chapter 3 tonight. All right, so let's go in the Apocrypha, First Maccabees, chapter 3 and verse 1, where we'll start. All right, so it says, let me share the screen. Salaki. All right, so First Maccabees chapter 3 and verse 1 says, then his son Judas, called Maccabeus, rose up in his stead. His here is Mattathias. So Mattathias died, and he charged Judas to be their captain, all right, or their leader, right? It says, matter of fact, let me get a precept on that. Let me go to the book of Sirach chapter 30 and verse 3, because this is the reason why his son was able to rise up in his stead, right? Mattathias taught his kids. He taught his kids what the Bible said, and he raised them to be men. All right, this is Sirach 30 and verse 1. It says, he that loveth his son causeth him oft to feel the rod, all right, that he may have joy of him in the end. So when you love your son, you're going to chastise him. The chief way to chastise your child is with the Bible. All right. The rod, yeah, that could be a switch or a stick, but it's also synonymous with the Bible, because a rod is used for support. Okay, and the Bible is our support. So you cause them off the field of rod, yeah, you will physically chastise them, but spiritually as well, cause them to feel the rod, that he may have joy of him in the end. He's not gonna like why you chastising him in the moment. It's gonna hurt. You're gonna cry. All right. It says, he that chastiseth his son shall have joy in him, and shall rejoice of him among his acquaintances. It says, he that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy, and before his friends he shall rejoice of him. So when the last thing the enemy want to see is you raising your son to be a man of the Lord. You, let alone you raising your son, you teaching your sons who they are in the eyes of the Most High. The heathen don't want to see that, because that's one more generation that's gonna get it. That's one more generation that's gonna understand. Right? Let's keep going. It says, though his father die, yet he as is though he were not dead, for he have left one behind him that is like himself. And that's just what Judas was, man. Let's go back. Judas was just like his dad in the fact that he was zealous of the law, right? It says, First Maccabees 3 and 1 again, it says, then his son Judas, called Maccabeus, rose up in his stead, and all his brethren helped him, and so did all they that helped his father. Right? Then we just read that in Sirach 30. It says, he that chastises his son shall have joy in him, and shall rejoice of him among his acquaintances. So his friends knew about him, right? His friends knew about him and seeing how he was raising his son. All right. So it said his friends helped him in the battle, right? It says, and they fought with cheerfulness the battle of Israel. So he gat his people great honor, and put on a breastplate as a giant, and girt his warlike harness about him. And he made battles, protecting the host with his sword. In his acts he was like a lion, and like a lion's whelp, meaning a young lion, roaring for his prey. It says, for he pursued the wicked, and sought them out, and burnt up those that vexed his people. Wherefore the wicked shrunk for fear of him, and all the workers of iniquity were troubled, because salvation prospered in his hand. Right? So this was a mighty brother, man. This was a mighty brother. He fought for his people, and he was glad to do it. It say he pursued the wicked and sought them out, meaning what? He was hunting them. He was hunting them. He was out searching for them, right? Let's hold that real quick. Let's get an example. Let's go to 1 Maccabees chapter 5 and verse 5. Right, I'm gonna start at 1. It says, now when the nations round about heard that the altars were built and the sanctuary renewed as before, it displeased them very much. See, the heathen are always displeased when we get our stuff together. When we get in step as a nation and we get in order, it displeases them very much. How us rebuilding the temple hurt y'all? Because they know that's the source of our power. They know that's how our God is going to fight for us, right? It says, wherefore they sought to destroy the generation of Jacob that was among them. And thereupon they began to slay and destroy the people. They still like that to this day. To this day, they want to wipe out Jacob. And they starting with you men, right? That's how they wipe out Jacob, with the men, destroy the men. It says, then Judas fought against the children of who? Esau in Idumea at Arabathine, because they besieged Gal. And he gave them a great overthrow and abated their courage and took their spoils. Also, he remembered the injury of the children of Ben, who had been a snare and an offense unto the people, in that they lay in wait for them in the ways. He shut them up, therefore, in the towers and encamped against them and destroyed them utterly. This Judas Maccabees, it says, and burned the tower of that place with fire and all that there were in. So he locked them in the tower and set the tower on fire. So that boy was ruthless. Well, that Salaki, that brother was ruthless, man. He didn't show him no mercy. Right? Let's go back. So it says he was like a lion in a lion's whelp. A young lion is brave. They think they can do more than what they can. Right? And a lion gonna stalk out his prey. It says, 1 Maccabees 3 and 5 says, for he pursued the wicked and sought them out and burnt up those that vexed his people. Wherefore the wicked scrumped for fear of him, and all the workers of iniquity were troubled, because salvation purposed in his hand. He grieved also many kings and made Jacob glad with his acts, and his memorial is blessed forever. So this brother got a name, right? Let's go to the book of Sirach, chapter, let me see. I want to say, 44. Let's go to Sirach 44. He got him a name, man, an everlasting name or a memorial, right? Sirach 44 and verse 1, it says, let us now praise famous men and our fathers that begat us. The Lord have wrought great glory by them through his great power from the beginning. Such as did bear rule in their kingdoms, men renowned for their power, giving counsel by their understanding and declaring prophecies. Leaders of the people by their counsels and by their knowledge of learning meet for the people. Wise and eloquent are their instructions. So these men, you read about King David, we reading about Judas Maccabees right now, and the Maccabees. They got great honor, right? Let me jump down. Verse 7, it says, all these were honored in their generations and were the glory of their time. So Judas was famous at this time, man, and he's still famous today. It's 2024, and we reading about this brother, right? Verse 8, it says, there be of them that have left a name behind them, that their praises might be reported. So it's being reported now that this brother was hunting down the heathen, burning them up, right? Let's go back to 1 Maccabees chapter 3 and verse 8. It says, moreover, he went through the cities of Judah, destroying the ungodly out of them and turning away wrath from Israel, right? It says, so that he was renowned unto the utmost part of the earth. Everybody on the earth knew about this brother. It says, and he received unto him such as were ready to perish. Then Apollonius gathered the Gentiles together and a great host out of Samaria to fight against Israel. which thing when Judas perceived, he went forth to meet him. And so he smote him and slew him. Many also fell down slain, but the rest fled. Wherefore Judas took the spoils. Now he took their spoils, he stole their stuff. It says, and Apollonius' sword also, and therewith he fought all his life long. So he picked his brother's sword up. He must have had a really nice sword, right? And he fought with that sword the rest of his life. It says, now when Saran, a prince of the army of Syria, heard that Judas had gathered unto him a multitude and a company of the faithful to go out with him to war. So Syria fighting against us. So when you see Syria getting bombed on the news, they're gonna feel bad for them. We happy because all these nations was fighting against us. We reading it. It says, he said, I will get me a name and honor in the kingdom, for I will go fight with Judas and them that are with him, who despise the king's commandment. So he made him ready to go up, and there went with him a mighty host of the ungodly to help him and to be avenged of the children of Israel. So you're gonna always have the other nations ready to fight against. It's still like this to this day, right? When you see, let me get a picture of it real quick. Right, United Nations, right? Round table. Look at this. They're there to discuss how to keep the children of Israel oppressed. That's what they doing. You see him raising his hand. Let me go back to it. Salaki. They raising their hand. They ain't discussing how to make things better for our nation. I don't know why they ain't letting me click on it. But y'all see it. They ain't letting me try. They not trying to let me click on it no more. Dang, that's mad, man. Nah, it done went away. Dang. There we go. Look at that. Ain't nobody there talking on behalf of our people, you blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. They talking against you. Every one of them seats is filled with somebody that's against our nation. They not for us. So that's what we reading about, man. Let's go back to First Maccabees. It says, Salakia, it says 16, yeah, it says, and when he came near to go to the going of Bethoron, Judas went forth to meet him with a small company. So he didn't have as large of an army as they had. He had the whole world. Look at it, verse 15 says, so he made him ready to go up, and there went with him a mighty host of the ungodly to help him, to be avenged of the children of Israel. Judas came up with a small company. But we got the Lord fighting on behalf of us. All right. It says, verse 17, who, when they saw the host coming to meet them, said unto Judas, how shall we be able, being so few, to fight against so great a multitude and so strong, seeing we are ready to faint with fasting all this day. So these brothers that he had with him, they've been fasting, and it ain't a lot of them. But you got some brothers in that camp that's scared. They seen that large army that was coming up against them, and they like, how we gonna beat them? We ain't even ate there not today, right? Verse 18 says, unto whom Judas answered, it is no hard matter for many to be shut up in the hands of a few, and with the God of heaven it is all one, to deliver with a great multitude or a small company. The Lord don't thrive in a bunch of people, a bunch of men. He don't thrive in that, right? And they said what he told in the book. Let me see if I can find it real quick. In the book of Joshua, right? Let me see real quick. Yeah, Judges, Salaki. Let me go to Judges. The Lord don't like numbers because when you got a lot of people, yeah, Judges chapter 7. Whenever you got a lot of men, men tends to glory in men instead of giving the credit to the Most High. You even got camps like that, right? They think that the Lord is dealing with them because they got a lot of men, right? Judges chapter, I'm gonna start at chapter 7 and verse 2, right? It says, and the Lord said unto Gideon, the people that are with thee are too many. Why? For me to give the Midianites into their hands, lest Israel vaunt themselves against me, saying, mine own hand have saved me. So when Gideon went to fight the Midianites, the Lord said, you got too many men with you. I don't want you going and fighting them with a whole bunch of people. They're going to vaunt themselves. They're going to give all honor and glory to themselves. They said, my own hand have saved me. I went up with 50,000. The Lord don't want that. Verse 3, it says, now therefore go to, proclaim in the ears of the people, saying, whosoever is fearful and afraid, let him return and depart early from Mount Gilead. And there return of the people 20 and 2,000, and there remained 10,000. So they had 32,000 people with them, and 2/3 of them left. That's spiritual, right? 2/3 of them were scared. The Lord knew it. He was like, tell whoever's scared to go home. That the Most High knew most of them were scared. He said 2/3 of them left. 20 and 2,000, and only 10,000 remain. Verse 4, why it says, and the Lord said unto Gideon, the people are yet too many. So it was like 10,000 was still too much. Bring them down unto the water, and I will try them for thee there. And it shall be that of whom I say unto thee, this shall go with thee, the same shall go with thee. And of whomsoever I say unto thee, this shall not go with thee, the same shall not go. So he brought down the people unto the water, and the Lord said unto Gideon, everyone that lappeth the water with his tongue as a dog lappeth, him shalt thou set by himself. Likewise, everyone that bows down upon his knees to drink. And the number of them that lapped, putting their hand to their mouth, were 300 men. But all the rest bowed down upon their knees to drink. And the Lord said unto Gideon, by the 300 men that lap will I save you. So that represent the elect. The 300 men that lap, I'm going to use them. I don't want 32,000. 300 out of 32,000 is a big difference. That's a big difference. It says, I will save you and deliver the Midianites into thy hand, and let all the other people go, every man unto his place. So the other men, they weren't scared. The 22,000 was scared. Then the 700, no, that's 10,000. Only 300 out of 10,000. The rest of them was brave, but the Lord still said that was too many. That's 9,700. The 9,700 wasn't scared, but the Lord said, I don't want them either. Right? So the Lord don't deal with numbers, man. If you measuring yourself by yourself, like the scriptures say, then you sadly mistaken. You going off. It's the Lord, man. The Lord get all the honor and all the glory. Always, right? So let's go back. So verse 18 again. In 2 Maccabees 3, it says, unto whom Judas answered, it is no hard matter for the Lord to be shut up in the hands of a few. It says, it's no hard matter for many to be shut up in the hands of a few. And with the God of heaven, it is all one to deliver with a great multitude or a small company. It says, for the victory of battle standeth not in the multitude of an host, but strength cometh from heaven. They come against us in much what? Pride and iniquity. They prideful and they in sin. And they coming to fight against us. It says, and our wives and children to spoil us. They want to rob us. But we fight for our lives and our laws. It's an old worldly proverb. It say the most dangerous animal is a wounded. You corner a wounded squirrel you want, he'll kill you. Because he's fighting for his life. Versus you coming with all that pride and nothing to even stand on, but you just want to look like something. That's what that man, what is his name? Apollonius. He just want to get him a name. Right? He said, but we fight for our lives and our laws. Wherefore the Lord himself will overthrow them before our face. And as for you, be ye not afraid of them. So that's why the Lord was fighting with Judas. Because he did what? He gave all honor and glory to the Most High. Let me get that in the book of Jeremiah. Right? Jeremiah chapter 9 and verse 16. The Lord don't like when you not 9 and 16. The Lord don't like when you glory in yourself, but rather that you glory in him. Right? Jeremiah 9 and 23. Right? It says, thus saith the Lord, let not the wise man glory in his wisdom, neither let the mighty man glory in his might. Now, Judas was mighty. He could have had that type of spirit where he killing and slaying. He like, man, you know, I'm the one. He didn't think like that. He said, let not the might, neither let the mighty man glory in his might. Let not the rich man glory in his riches. But let him that glorieth glory in this, that he understandeth and knoweth me, that I am the Lord which exercises loving kindness, judgment, and righteousness in the earth. For in these things I delight, saith the Lord. So the Lord loves when you glory in that, the fact that he just merciful with us, because he got every right. He within his right to destroy us. But he was within his rights to let them heathen come up and destroy all of Israel during the Greek captivity. He didn't have to strengthen Judas and his brothers the way that he did and allow them to fight and succeed against them. He would have been well within his right to let us perish by the hand of the heathen. So we glory in that the Lord exercises loving kindness, judgment, and righteousness in the earth, right? Not in ourselves. Let's go back, right? It says, verse 22, it says, wherefore the Lord himself will overthrow them before our face. And as for you, be ye not afraid of them. Now, as soon as he had left off speaking, he leaped suddenly upon them. And so Saran and his host was overthrown before him. Soon as he got finished talking, he jumped on them. Right? It says, and they pursued them from the going down of Bethron unto the plain where were slain about 800 of men of them. And the residue fled into the land of the Philistines. Then began the fear of Judas and his brethren, and an exceeding great dread to fall upon the nations round about them. Now everybody's scared, right? Insomuch as his fame came unto the king, and all nations talked of the battles of Judas. Now when King Antiochus heard these things, he was full of indignation. Wherefore he sent and gathered together all the forces of his realm, even a very strong army. He opened also his treasure and gave his soldiers pay for a year, commanding them to be ready whensoever he should need them. Nevertheless, now that was stupid on his behalf. He gave them their money before they went to work. Man ain't gonna work like he will if you pay him before he work. He ain't gonna work the same, right? All that's of the Lord. The Lord made him do that, right? It says, nevertheless, when he saw that the money of his treasure failed and that the tribute in the country was small because of the dissensions and plague which he had brought upon the land in taking away the laws which had been of old time. Because what's the laws of old time? You're supposed to get a land the Sabbath. You ain't just supposed to just reap the land, just reaping it the way Esau do every year. You're supposed to get a land a Sabbath as well. So the land ain't producing for him, right? It says when he seen he running out of money, he feared that he should not be able to bear the charges any longer, nor to have such gifts to give so liberally as he did before. For he had abounded above the kings that were before him. So he was in over his head, right? He giving away all this stuff, just paying people before they go to work. And now he worries, right? Let me get this precept real quick. And 2nd Maccabees, right? Matter of fact, yeah, 2nd Maccabees, chapter 1, and let's go to verse 13. Right, it says, for when the leader was coming to Persia and the army with him that seemed invincible, they were slain in the temple of Nania by the deceit of Nania's priest. For Antiochus, as though he would marry her, came into the place, and his friends that were with him to receive money in the name of a dowry, which when the priest of Nania had set forth, he was entered with a small company into the compass of the temple. They shut the temple as soon as Antiochus was come in, and opening a private door of the roof, they threw stones like thunderbolts and struck down the captain, hewed them in pieces, smote off their heads, and cast them to those that were without. So this went going into when he went to try to steal some more money, right? It says, blessed be our God in all things, who have delivered up the ungodly. Therefore, whereas we are now purposed to keep the purification of the temple upon the 25th day of the month Caslu, we thought it necessary to certify you thereof, that ye might also keep it, as the feast of tabernacles and of the fire, which was given us when Nehemiah offered sacrifice. After that, he had builded the temple and the altar, right? It's something else I wanted to get in there. Might just not come. I might go back to it, right? But this man went trying to steal money from somewhere else, right? To try to make it seem, to try to keep people paid, to keep his men happy, right? So now his pocket's hurting, right? Let's go back. I get that precept, Lord willing, that I'm looking for at another time, right? So verse 31, it says, wherefore being greatly perplexed in his mind, he determined to go into Persia, there to take the tributes of the countries and to gather much money. So he left Lysias, a noble man and one of the blood royal, to oversee the affairs of the king from the river Euphrates unto the border of Egypt. So now Antiochus has got Lysias in charge while he going to go try to get some more money, right? He done ran out of money and he trying to get back, right? Let me go to chapter 6 and verse 56. Right, it says, let's start at 55. All right, it says, at that time, Lysias heard say that Philip, whom Antiochus the king, while he lived, had appointed to bring up his son Antiochus, that he might be king, was returned out of Persia and Media, and the king's host also that went with him, and that he sought to take unto him the ruling of the affairs. So later on, this man he put in charge, he ended up turning on him. Right, he ended up turning on because he got so used to ruling while he was gone. It says, wherefore he went in all haste and said to the king and the captains of the host and the company, we decay daily, and our victuals are but small, and the place we lay siege unto is strong, and the affairs of the kingdom lie upon us. Now therefore let us be friends with these men and make peace with them and with all their nations. So Lysias like, we going through it while you gone. We ain't got no food, and we supposed to have done siege this place, but they done got strong again, right? They done rededicated the temple. So he like, let us be friends with these men and make peace with them, with all their nation, and covenant with them that they shall live after their law. He like, let them folk keep their law, because we struggling as they did before, for they are therefore displeased. They mad at us because we not letting them keep their laws. And I've done all these things because we abolished their laws, right? So he ended up turning on them, switching up on them, right? Let me go back, right? In verse, I left off, 32, right? 33, it says, and to bring up his son Antiochus until he came again. Moreover, he delivered unto him the half of his forces, half of his money, and the elephants, and gave him charge of all things that he would have done, as also concerning them that dwelt in Judah and Jerusalem. So he like, look, here go half of my money, here go half of my elephants, here go all the elephants, raise my son, and keep an eye on the Israelites over there in Judah and Jerusalem. And I'm gonna go get some more money, right? It says, to wit, that he should send an army against them, to destroy and root out the strength of Israel. Now, the strength of Israel is us keeping the law joyfully. So he like, in the meantime, while I'm gone, you figure out how to get rid of that Bible and the remnant of Jerusalem, and to take away their memorial from that place, and that he should place strangers in all their quarters and divide their land by lot. So the king took the half of the forces that remained. Now, what you think he did with that money? Messed it up, dallied with prostitutes. It says, and departed from Antioch, his royal city, the 170th year. And having passed the river Euphrates, he went through the high countries. Then Lysias chose Ptolemy, the son of Doramenes, Nicanor, and Gorgias, mighty men of the king's friends. And with them he sent 40,000 footmen and 7,000 horsemen to go into the land of Judah and to destroy it, as the king commanded. So he got this army assembled, right? They going to try to fight against us. It says, so they went forth with all their power and came and pitched by Emus in the plain country. It says, and the merchants of the country, hearing the fame of them, took silver and gold very much with servants, and came into the camp to buy the children of Israel for what? Slaves. And power also of Syria, and the land of the Philistines joined themselves unto them. So that's why I say all these nations was against us. They were selling us as slaves then, and they sold us. They still doing it. That's why the human trafficking rate is up. Who you think they trafficking? Us. They want little black girls, little young black men, right? They were selling us as slaves. This is now when Judas and his brethren saw that miseries were multiplied, and that the forces did encamp themselves in the borders, for they knew how the king had given commandment to destroy the people and utterly abolish them. They said one to another, let us restore and decay the decayed fortune of our people, and let us fight for our people and the sanctuary. So how you restore the decayed fortune of your people, right? Let's go real quick to Hosea Salaki. Hosea chapter 4, right? I'm going to start at verse 1. It says, hear the word of the Lord, ye children of Israel, for the Lord hath a controversy with the inhabitants of the land. So the Lord got a problem with us. First of all, he got an issue with Israel. Why? Because there is no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of God in the land. That's how other nations come in and destroy us. That's how we end up being decayed, because there's no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of God in the land. The laws aren't being taught, right? Mercy and loving each other as you love yourself ain't being taught. It says by swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery, they break out and blood touches blood, black on black crime. Therefore shall the land mourn, and everyone that dwelleth therein shall languish, and the beasts of the field and the fowls of heaven, yea, the fishes of the sea shall be taken away. They're going to take everything you got. They're going to come in and they're going to take everything you got, including you, right? So let me keep reading. It says, let no man strive nor reprove another, for thy people are as they that strive with the priest. There ain't no sense in fighting against each other, because y'all fighting against the law. Y'all fighting against the priest, and he teaching y'all right. It says, therefore thou shalt fall in the day, and the prophet also shall fall with thee in the night, and I will destroy thy mother. Right? So Judah seen how we was destroyed, and he said, I got to do something about that. He said, let us restore the decayed fortune of our people, and let us fight. Because remember earlier we was reading about how we went to assimilating with the Gentiles, with the Greeks. We went to doing their ways, building gymnasiums and throwing discs naked, celebrating birthdays. Our leaders helped us get destroyed, right? So it says verse 44, then was the congregation what? Gathered together. The first step to restoring your people from a decayed state is gathering together. Gather together. There's a lot of brothers, a lot of sisters that's in the truth, that's by themselves. Right? Now, if you don't live near anybody and you can't gather with anybody, you know, that's understandable. But if you live near some brothers, you know, a congregation, you need to be gathering. The only reason why you probably wouldn't want to gather is you don't want nobody to correct you. You don't want nobody to teach you right from wrong. Right? So it said they gathered together that they might be ready for the battle, and that they might pray and ask mercy and compassion. Now Jerusalem lay void as a wilderness. There was none of her children that went in or out. The sanctuary also was trodden down, and aliens kept the stronghold. The heathen had their habitation in that place, and joy was taken from Jacob, and the pipe with the harp ceased. All right, it says, wherefore the Israelites assembled themselves together and came to Maspha over against Jerusalem. For in Maspha was the place where they prayed aforetime in Israel. So they went to a place that the heathen didn't know about, and they gathered themselves together and they prayed. It says, then they fasted that day and put on sackcloth and cast ashes upon their heads and rent their clothes. So what they doing now? Taking accountability. Right? It says, verse 48, and laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images. So they got their Bibles back, and they looking in their Bible, seeing they done whitewashed our images. They done painted over what our images originally looked like, and they got them looking like Idumeans, Edomites. Right? It's so they gotta imagine you will get your Bible back from somebody and somebody done wrote all in it, done colored all in it. That ain't what you put in your Bible. Right? It says they brought also the priest's garments and the first fruits and the tithes and the Nazarites they stirred up, who had accomplished their days. Then cried they with a loud voice toward heaven, saying, what shall we do with these? And whither shall we carry them away? For thy sanctuary is trodden down and profane, and thy priests are in heaviness and brought low. So you had Nazarites, they had accomplished their days. They supposed to have shaved their hair and brought the hair to the priest so he could burn it. But the sanctuary defiled. They can't even finish out their vow. So everything, they like, what should we do with these? The sanctuary is trodden down and profane, and the priests are in heaviness and brought low. And lo, the heathen are assembled together against us to destroy us. What things they imagine against us, thou knowest. And you never know, you don't know what this devil is imagining against you. They thinking and plotting stuff against our nation you can't even imagine. They go to sleep. What precept that is? They work as mischief upon their bed.
And that's song.
It's one that say they go to sleep. They work as mischief upon their bed when they rise up.
That Michael?
I think it's in Micah.
Chapter, is it 3 or 2? Yeah, 2 and 1.
Micah 2 and 1. Yeah, they go to sleep thinking about how to get you caught up in some sin. Right? It said, woe to them that deviseth iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. Right? It's in their power to keep you in figure, got a dang on research laboratory. When you seen Jake with a research laboratory that he didn't have to get the funding from Esau to make? It's in the power of their hands. It says, and they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. They're gonna figure out how to give your child ADHD, and then they're gonna tell you to celebrate Christmas. Take away your heritage from you, take away your land. It says, therefore, thus saith the Lord, behold, against this family do I devise an evil, from which ye shall not remove your necks, neither shall ye go haughtily, for the time is evil. Right? The Lord got a plan for him. He got a plan for him. Right? Let's go back. So he says, the things they imagine against us, thou knowest. We don't know what they got. We can't understand everything they planning on how to keep us destroyed. It says, how shall we be able to stand against them, except thou, O God, be our help? Then sounded they with trumpets and cried with a loud voice. So they blew the shofars up, all right, and cried out to the Lord. It's good. It's all right to cry out to the Lord. You don't got to be so manly that you can't cry out to the Lord. You catching hell and going through it in your home, at your job, you got to cry out to the Lord. Blow up the trumpet, go out and blow up the trumpet and just cry out to God. Right? It says, and after this, Judas ordained captains over the people, even captains over thousands and over hundreds and over 50s and over 10. So now he getting Israel in order. He like, look, you be over this 100, you over this 50. You over this these tens of people. He's setting up he getting Israel in order. It's all right to have structure and order. That's something Israel ain't used to. Right? It says, but as for such as were building houses, or had betrothed wives, or were planting vineyards, or were fearful, those he commanded that they should return, even every man to his own house, according to the law. We read that in the law. He didn't want no brother out there that just got engaged, that ain't slept with his wife yet. Because you're going to be thinking about her the whole time you were out fighting. Thinking about that vineyard you just planted. Dang, I ain't get to taste the grapes. I ain't get to eat none of it. I just built the house. I ain't even slept in it yet. I ain't got the roof on my house. You thinking about all this stuff that you got going on. What is that in Timothy? A soldier don't be caught up with the things of the world. What is it? 1 Timothy 2:1, I think.
I had a point on that.
Come on, go ahead. Let me find it. Come on. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, man, that just show you how much the Lord he care about us, man. Like, he care enough about it. Man, your job in the world, tell your boss, hey man, I just got married. You think he's gonna be like, oh, well, just go stay home for a little bit, enjoy your wife, don't come in. No, he's gonna still make you come in. So it's like the Most High God, man, he love us so much. He think about things like that man wouldn't even think about. But I was just thinking about that.
That's right. It's a law say when you got married, you could do no business for a year. You couldn't go to the work, you couldn't go to war for a year. You got to stay home, get your wife pregnant, and do that for a whole year. Right? So this 2 Timothy 2:4 says, no man that warreth entangleth himself with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who have chosen him to be a soldier. Right? So we at war right now, spiritually speaking. We warring through the spirit. That's something I'm guilty of, man. Getting caught up with everything else other than the battle. Other than the battle. Right? The Lord say, don't get entangled with the affairs of this life. When you got a wife, you got to make sure your wife happy. You got to argue with your wife. You got to feed you. You got to go to work. You got to do all these things to keep the house happy. Versus if you single, you can focus solely on the Lord. Now if you got a good wife, then she can be with a pillar of rest. She can, when you go out to battle and do war through the spirit, she gonna comfort you, recharge your spirit when you get back home. But if she not that, then it says you got to war outside and war at home. You don't want that, man. It's only gonna make it that much harder for you, right? So he sent those men home. The men that had affairs and stuff going on. It say he sent them home according to the law. So the camp removed and pitched upon the south side of Amos. And Judas said, arm yourselves and be valiant men. Get your sword ready, right? Put your helmet on. And he said, and see that ye be in readiness against the morning. In the morning we finna fight, that ye may fight with these nations that are assembled together against us to destroy us and our sanctuary. They hate us and our God. Right? It said, for it is better for us to die in the battle than to behold the calamities of our people in our sanctuary. Nevertheless, as the will of God is in heaven, so let him do. So we don't know if we gonna live or die. Whatever the Lord will is, that's what we gonna do. But one thing we ain't finna do is we ain't finna go out like no chumps. We finna go out fighting, man. And that's how we gotta be. We gotta go out fighting on behalf of the Lord, man. Always. Never let these heathen, we can never die on our knees, man. You down on your feet. Die standing and fighting for the Lord on behalf of the Most High. Right? So I don't want to start chapter 4. I'm gonna start chapter 4 tomorrow, Lord willing, right? Because that's the continuation of the battle and the dedication of the temple. We'll go a little longer tomorrow, right? And finish out the whole dedication of the temple, right? So brothers had some, we'll wrap it up, man. And just say happy new moon to everybody, those who are keeping it in this season at the appointed time. Happy new moon to everybody. Happy feast of dedication. It's a double feast day. So that means you got a double feast, right? It's a double feast day, man. So all praises to the Most High, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. All right. And with that, we're going to say Shalom.
Shalom. Oh, man, I didn't know we could come in because I would have loved that maybe come in.